Sinking Feeling is the ballad, I suppose, is how you would describe it. Not that it's really a ballad, it's a grunge song.
I think everyone can kind of relate to just like a good, strong, heavy riff in a song.
The first demo and the recording on the album, there's no differences. Even to the point where the solo on the album is the solo from the demo.
It's not violent in that way. I think there's an emotional violence to our music, which I wouldn't put as being punk.
Hello, we're King Nun.
And we're going to listen to our record Lamb on some Marshall headphones.
This night soaks up a new sky. Collect reward upon your knees again. This drip feed ain't enough. This day.
I think the song is sort of loosely, it's like an anti-establishment thing. I think for a while as a band, we found it difficult to sort of be able to do our own thing and sort of chase what we wanted to do. And I think being able to do this record and this song specifically, I think talks a lot about just sort of being true to yourself and doing what you want to do. It's a really energetic, like sort of true, I guess, true color like rock song, I think, which, you know, it's always fun to have that on a record. It's always nice to just go for the sort of straight, direct, like just heavy riff. I think everyone can kind of relate to just like a good, strong, heavy riff in a song. I think that's kind of fun.
This is Selfish, which for me is the song I'm probably most proud of on Lamb, because I just wanted to have one song that was really concise, that just structurally just flowed all the way through in such a way, and everything repeats over and over again with, oh my God, there's a cat, hello. Yeah, just to have that like repetition and just really hammer a simple point home, basically. It's like the personal struggle when you kind of commit your entire life to the pursuit of being in a band, because you have to, not that it's the hardest thing in the world ever, but you've got to make certain sacrifices here and there. And it's not always super easy, but I think that's kind of, yeah, that's where the selfish element of it comes in, I'd say.
The machines monopolize the information scene and drew the map where culture can exist in the cracks.
So that song's called Do, More, and it's a combination of a song that Caius and Theo wrote. Yeah, sort of smushed together, and it's a very melodic one. Like, music is a honeypot of just feeling and emotion that everyone can pick and choose and interpret how they want in their own way. And I think this song is a good example of, I think you can interpret it in many ways, and I think it's cool. If you sit and you stress over a guitar solo, it's never as good as the one that just comes straight away. You get those virtuosos who, yeah, they can play everything, but I think like the realest guitar solos in the songs that you listen to are always, I feel like those are always like very early on in takes. I think it's something just is spontaneous, it kind of explodes out of you as a person. I always think that's just the fun way to do it.
And the winner is have yet to be seen. Sometimes you should lose before you...
Sinking Feeling is the ballad, I suppose, is how you would describe it. Not that it's really a ballad, it's a grunge song, but it's a pop song in its writing and the way we tried to do it. Like, we were trying to kind of write like a Radioheady, Weezery one, I suppose, and I think that comes across. And it's a pretty direct love song. I think with Sinking Feeling, we're definitely trying to wear the influences on our sleeve. We weren't trying to shy away from like the obvious grunge part or like the Weezery stabs in the chorus. Because like, I think there's a tendency when you're in a band, like you want to be like the next big thing, you want to be somehow break new ground, but like that's not always actually what's going to make the song good. And sometimes the song is going to work in this way. And it's like, sometimes it's fine to lean into it and like to not feel like you've got to be super clever about it.
There is no need in one. Maybe you've lost something they've got, but they're not gonna give it.
So there was quite a lot of agonizing over that song in the studio. It was, I think the vocal that comes in at the beginning of that song is one of my favorites actually on the record, because I think it's so, like I said, so raw and so real, and the way it was recorded was so, I think, personable. And I remember when we sort of got that intro, everyone was like, oh, this is like, I think we started having a lot of fun then with the record when that happened. And then that contrast with the way the guitars kick in, I love the dynamics of that song. And it's when we've played it live as well, it's always a really fun way to sort of like kick into a song like that as well. For me, it's not even specifically, it's the way the vocals kick in for me is what I really love. Just the lift and energy, like suddenly it's just getting punched in the face with this like sort of heavy heavy melodic guitar part. But no, I don't think I have like a specific lyric for that song which I gravitate to.
Yeah, OCD's, I think, one of my favourites on this album because it was one of the most like collaborative writing processes where like it feels like everyone was really involved in that from start to finish. And it's like the first demo and the recording on the album, there's no differences. Even to the point where the solo on the album is the solo from the demo. My good friend Adam Beer that was engineering the album, he went out the studio for about 5 minutes when we were doing the solo, came back in, he was like, how did you get the solo done so quickly? And then I never told him, but it's from the it's from the demo. I think from a linguistic perspective, definitely, like because they're always, there's more syllables in those kind of words, and they kind of, the context you usually hear them is like, you know, you've got a relative in the hospital, and it kind of evokes that, like it's, you know, it's not so fun. But it's not meant to be fun, it's meant to make you feel a bit like, oh, uneasy.
Say hello to another friend, waking up on the sofa.
There's definitely a, I think, quite prevalent sadness in this song. I remember like when we were recording the vocals in the song, it was actually quite an emotional, quite moving moment in the studio. I know that Theo, he has sort of some family history connected to the song with like, I think to do with losing friends and stuff. So that's ingrained in the lyrics and the song. But there's a real sense of like searching and wanting to belong, I think, which is I think really moving in that song. I think as a band, when we play live, I think there's a lot of punk elements. But with our music and recordings, it's not violent in that way. I think there's an emotional violence to our music, which I think is, which I wouldn't put as being punk or something like that. I think alternative. Oh, hello, cat. I think alternative is where I'd probably put it.
I must be struck by lightning to fly. I must be struck by lightning to fly.
I Must Be Struck by Lightning to Fly is my most favourite to play live. Out of all of them, it's so much fun because it's fast, it's energetic, and like I don't know, I enjoy the drum part a lot. And it's one of our more punky ones. And then for me, it feels like an old King Nun song. So it kind of like, you know, when you've been making music since you're a teenager, you kind of chase that a little bit. So it's nice to kind of feel like you're a teenager again when you're doing it. If people were to say that, you know, there's a teenage energy to King Nun, I mean, I would completely agree. That's how we started. So that is the DNA of the band.
On this repeated occasion, habit replaced.
Spark Me Up on the Beach it's a very light sounding, fun song. It's a facade in a lot of ways because it loosely talks about things like addiction, like on the rock. So there's subtle metaphors throughout that song, but it's one of, I guess, the happier sounding songs on the record. And I think that's kind of fun when you can have a lyrical content that contrasts the sonics of the song. Yeah. This was the first song I ever recorded on joining King Nun. So this was like it scared the shit out of me doing it. I remember being in the studio, because like I said, I always used to record in my bedroom with my brother, and we'd get into arguments and stuff, like recording. So, and it was the first time in a big proper studio, like producers there, engineers there, there's a big ass Neve console, and I was sat there with this baritone guitar, just like kind of shitting myself. But it was, it was like a kind of a doorway into this whole universe for me, this song, so I guess it has a really special place in my heart in that sense.
We're not gonna say anything
But we wrote it in the studio. Me and Nathan, I think, were just like jamming it, and then we just like put as much like manic guitar stuff on it as we could. Like we tried loads of vocals on it. Like it was never intended to be an instrumental track, and then there's no vocals worked, so we ended up just exporting it with nothing on it. And then we started playing gigs and realised, oh, we can just like do this, and then you can just, if we do it at the end of the sets, when you think you've got no energy left, that like reserve energy you have, it all goes into escapism. I've got a problem with double tracking guitars where like I never want to stop. It's because it's like, oh, I've got that pedal and that one, and then you keep I just kept adding and adding and adding and adding. So to be honest with you, there's probably a lot. And then my friend John that mixed it, I know that he kept telling me how many he was muting, which is always fun, which I knew he was going to do. But you know, it's fun to give him the option. I'll give someone the option.
Well, that song was interesting because it was the only song that was written while we were recording the album. Everything else came from prior studio sessions and sort of writing sessions over the course of lockdown, sort of post-lockdown, all that thing. But yeah, Lamb was one where James and Theo sat down with literally at a piano with a guitar, super old school style. Yeah, and just kind of hashed it out, and then they sort of came into the room and being like, we've got this song, we've got this song. I think it's the first time approaching a song in that manner of just like being very, very acoustic, just like you said, like doing the acoustic number at the end. Obviously, it's the title track as well. I mean, there's always the possibility that we write songs that sound like Lamb, but I think when it comes to recording new music and writing new songs, you always want to, I guess, push the envelope. You always want to progress. You don't want to get stuck on the same shit, because why would you want to do that?
Listening through Lamb on the headphones was honestly so much fun. Sounded great. Hearing the detail come through and like the energy coming through.
And we looked really cool while we were doing it.
Yeah. Once your iPhone starts telling you it's too loud, that's when it's perfect.